All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at how a totally routine soccer foul escalated into one of the most unprecedented geopolitical incidents in modern sports history. We're talking about a moment that started on the grass of a soccer pitch and somehow ended up shaking the very foundations of international sports governance.
So you might be wondering, how on earth does a stepped-on ankle turn into a full-blown international political crisis? Well, to figure that out, we actually need to zoom way into the absolute micro level on the pitch before zooming back out to the global stage. We're going to trace the path from a split-second referee decision all the way to the highest offices of the United States government and the headquarters of FIFA.
Section 1. The Red Card. Folarin Balogun's historic run and sudden stop. Our story kicks off with U.S. men's national team striker Folarin Balogun. He stepped onto the pitch at the 2026 World Cup and literally made history right out of the gate. By scoring twice in the opening match against Paraguay, he became the first American to have a multi-goal World Cup game in 96 years. Think about that. You have to go all the way back to Bert Patenaude in 1930 to find the last time that happened. The guy was on absolute fire, helping the U.S. secure the top spot in their group. But that incredible momentum is exactly what made his sudden red card against Bosnia and Herzegovina so devastating for the U.S. team. Picture this. It's the 61st minute, and Balogun steps on Tarek Muharemovic's ankle. At first, the on-field referee, Rafael Klaus, doesn't even call a foul. But then VAR official Juan Soto steps in and calls for an on-field review using slow-motion replays. The result? A straight red card. This actually made Balogun only the fourth player in the entire history of the World Cup to score a goal and get a red card in the exact same match. And right away, this sparked a fascinating legal argument. The U.S. team immediately started gearing up to argue to the Court of Arbitration for Sport that this slow-motion review actually violated the laws of the game. Former referee Andy Davies hit the nail on the head here, stating that using slow motion to judge the severity of an offense was a direct breach of VAR protocols, because according to the rules, normal speed is what should be used for that kind of judgment.
Section 2. The Presidential Intervention. Escaping the automatic suspension.
This is the exact moment where your standard sports appeal morphs into literal international statecraft, and things escalated incredibly fast. In June, Balogun gets the red card, which normally means an automatic suspension for the next match against Belgium. So the U.S. Soccer Federation starts prepping an appeal. But behind closed doors, U.S. officials, including Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, provided lawyers, and the real kicker? President Donald Trump directly lobbied FIFA President Gianni Infantino across 3 separate phone calls. Fast forward to July 5th, and FIFA officially suspends the ban. During those calls, Trump argued to Infantino that the collision wasn't even a foul, and that using the slow-motion replay completely invalidated the red card. He later told reporters he pushed for the review because he felt the red card was a great injustice, basically stating he didn't think it was an infraction at all.
Section 3. The Article 27 Loophole. The mechanism of the reversal. Now, to understand exactly how FIFA legally justified suspending this ban right in the middle of the tournament, we really have to dig into their own rulebook. Normally, red cards just can't be appealed by national associations during the World Cup. But FIFA bypassed that by pointing to Article 27 of their disciplinary code. This specific article gives FIFA super broad discretion to fully or partially suspend disciplinary measures. So technically, they didn't overturn the red card itself, but they put Balogun's automatic one-match suspension on a 1-year probationary period, which magically cleared him to play against Belgium. While Belgium, who were up next against the U.S., naturally appealed this decision, they pointed straight to Article 10.5 of the World Cup regulations, which clearly demands an automatic suspension for a red card in the very next match. But FIFA completely dismissed Belgium's appeal. Their reasoning? They argued that the overarching FIFA disciplinary code, specifically that Article 27 we just talked about, takes legal precedent over the specific World Cup regulations. And what adds another wild layer to this whole mechanism is exactly who pulled the trigger. The chairman of FIFA's disciplinary committee, Mohamed Al-Kamali, made the decision to suspend the ban completely on his own. He didn't consult the other 17 members of the committee. He fined Balogun $40,000, but ultimately gave him the green light to take the field. Now, you might be thinking, has this ever happened before? While there's some precedent, it is incredibly rare. Article 27 was used previously to waive suspensions for players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Nicolas Otamendi for early matches. But the closest World Cup precedent to Balogun's situation is actually Brazil's Garrincha, all the way back in 1962.
In that tournament, his ban was dropped after an alleged intervention by the president of the host nation, Chile. Just to put that into perspective, out of 189 red cards at World Cups prior to Balogun, Garrincha was literally the only one to escape a suspension. Section 4. The Global Backlash. Dueling Perspectives.
Unsurprisingly, the decision to let Balogun play sparked a fiercely divided reaction across the globe. On one side, the response from the United States was highly celebratory. U.S. officials like Senator Ted Cruz and Secretary of State Marco Rubio praised the reversal. President Trump publicly celebrated it on Truth Social, specifically thanking FIFA for doing what was right and getting rid of the red card penalty.
But contrasting that completely, the Belgian response was pure disbelief and honestly mockery. Prime Minister Bart de Wever even went on Instagram and posted a hilarious image of his cat with a speech bubble that read, "Red card? I'll play anyway." The Belgian national team coach actually called the decision an April Fool's joke. Ultimately, Belgium went on to beat the U.S. 4-1 in that match, and the Belgian players and officials openly mocked the political intervention right after the game. The outrage definitely didn't stop with Belgium, though. It spread like wildfire across Europe. UEFA dropped a scathing statement expressing total disbelief at what they called an unjustifiable decision. It got so intense that UEFA president Alexander Ceferin actually boycotted the World Cup final in protest. Football heads in Germany, Italy, Norway, and Spain all issued really harsh condemnations, warning what this sets a dangerous precedent where meritocracy just gets lost to political influence. And the fallout went even deeper than just angry statements. International advisory bodies flagged some seriously suspicious betting irregularities. The Group of Copenhagen pointed out that the platform Polymarket uniquely opened a highly specific betting market on the exact day of the red card, asking whether Balogun would play against Belgium. That did not happen for any other suspension in the entire tournament. Naturally, that raises some big questions about potential information leaks or perceived political influence spilling over into betting markets. The chorus of criticism was so loud that even former FIFA president Sepp Blatter weighed in. He argued that red cards should be overturned by evidence, by rules, and by independent bodies, not by political phone calls. Blatter questioned the very future of the organization, delivering a stark warning that football must never, ever become a playground for political power.
Section 5. The Future of FIFA. The 77th Congress.
So, this brings us to why this single red card matters so deeply for the long-term future of global sports governance. This whole controversy has severely impacted Gianni Infantino's bid for a fourth term as FIFA president at the upcoming 77th Congress in March 2027. Following the incident, dozens of EU lawmakers have been gathering support to launch a full investigation into Infantino. A formal ethics complaint was even sent to the International Olympic Committee. As a result, several European football associations are actually withdrawing their support for his re-election, even though Asian and African associations are maintaining their backing.
Throughout all this chaos, Infantino has staunchly defended the process, insisting that FIFA's judicial bodies acted completely autonomously and that their independence has to be protected from political interference. But at the same time, the political ties are still sharply in focus. President Trump recently announced that the U.S. government will officially back Infantino for the 2026 UN Secretary General selection. Talk about the ultimate intersection of sports and global politics, right?
So, with a simple stepped-on ankle leading to a red card that is literally threatening the presidency of FIFA, we are left looking at a deeply fractured global sports community. As we look toward that 77th FIFA Congress, we really have to ask, can the precedent of top-level political intervention in sports ever be reversed? Or has the beautiful game fundamentally changed forever? It's definitely something to keep in mind the next time you see a referee run over to a VAR monitor. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the systems that run the games we love.